Good afternoon, fourth grade. We're going to continue reading in our American Revolution text, Tensions Are Rising. We have a quick write. It says, describe a time when you gave someone the opportunity to do the right thing, but they didn't. What happened and how did it make you feel? Press pause to write down your answer and play when you're ready for the focus question. Our focus question for today is, why was revolution in the air? Our vocabulary words are repeal, which means to do away with a law, like you make something a law, but when you repeal it, it's not a law anymore. So that would be, it's kind of like doing a U-turn with the law. So you can draw a line to this picture. You change your mind. The second word is boycott. That's when you people don't buy things because they are trying to protest or punish the company. So these people are boycotting Chick-fil-A. They're trying to encourage people not to eat there for some reason. And then the next word is oppression. That is when someone treats you unfairly for a long period of time. All right, so turn the page in your notes, and we are going to continue reading in our text, Revolution in the Air. And because this is a nonfiction text, we're going to use our how, why question strategy to help us find the main idea. And so we would turn Revolution in the Air into a why question that says, why was revolution in the air? And we would write that down in 1A. Press pause to write down your answer and play when you're ready to read. All right, I'm at after the Boston Tea Party. After the Boston Tea Party, Parliament voted in 1774 to place harsh regulations called intolerable acts or coercive acts on the colony. Set up in Philadelphia, the First Continental Congress united the colonies to stop buying British goods until Parliament repealed these laws. Americans made goods at home to replace British imports, and a second Continental Congress was planned for 1775 if Britain did not change its policies. Meanwhile, Benjamin Franklin was returning to Philadelphia from London. He then believed the colonies must resist by force of arms. All right, so when we're thinking about why was there revolution in the air, we know that it's because of these intolerable acts that Parliament passed and because of the boycott that the colonists had decided to do. And even at the end, we have Benjamin Franklin's opinion that if this boycott doesn't work, they're going to have to go to war. And so in 1B, we would write down, the colonists boycotted British goods when Parliament placed harsh regulations on them, in hopes that Parliament would change its mind to avoid war. Press pause to write down your answer and play when you're ready for 2A. It says, how did Parliament respond to the colonists' Boston Tea Party? So if we go back into our text, we need to find where it talks about the Boston Tea Party, and that's in that first sentence. But we want to know, how did Parliament respond? So what did Parliament do after the Boston Tea Party? And it says, after the Boston Tea Party, Parliament voted in 1774 to place harsh regulations called intolerable acts or coercive acts on the colony. Okay, so in 2A, we would write down, Parliament placed harsh regulations on the colonists called the intolerable acts. Press pause to write down your answer and play when you're ready for 2B. It says, why did the colonists stop buying British goods? So we need to go back in the text where the colonists stopped buying the British goods, and then we need to figure out why. Set up in Philadelphia, the First Continental Congress united the colonies to stop buying British goods until Parliament repealed their laws. So the reason why the colonists stopped buying British goods was to try to get Parliament to repeal the laws, which would be the Intolerable Acts. So in 2B, we would write down, the colonists stopped buying British goods because Parliament punished them for standing up for what they believe in, which would be the Boston Tea Party. Press pause to write down your answer and play when you're ready for 3A. It says, what did the colonists plan to do if Great Britain didn't change its policies? And so if we go back, they said that they were going to make their goods at home, and that then they were going to meet again in 1775 if Great Britain didn't change its policies. So in box 3A, we would write, the colonists planned to replace British imports with homemade goods and form a second Continental Congress in a year. Press pause to write down your answer and play when you're ready for 3B. It says, what does this reveal about the colonists? And so this reveals that the colonists are trying to settle their disagreement peacefully before going to war. They're not trying to rush into war, they're trying to solve their problem another way. So in 3B, we would write, this reveals that the colonists wanted to peacefully settle their grievances with Great Britain before jumping into war. Press pause to write down your answer and play when you're ready for 4A. It says, what conclusion can we draw about how Benjamin Franklin felt about the colonists' next steps with Great Britain? And if we go back in our text, it says that Benjamin Franklin believed that they would have to, war was inevitable. He was like, they must resist by force of arms, which means he believed the only way they'd be able to win is if they started war. So in 4A, we would write, Benjamin Franklin thought the colonists would have to go to war with Great Britain to get what they wanted. Press pause to write down your answer and play when you're ready for 4B. It says, what does this conclusion reveal about Benjamin Franklin's perspective of King George III? And so this lets us know that he does not think the boycott or them not buying British goods is going to affect King George. He doesn't think King George is going to change his mind unless they go to war. And so that lets us know that he probably thinks King George is stubborn. So in 4B, we would write, this reveals that Benjamin Franklin does not think King George III is willing to compromise with the colonists. Press pause to write down your answer and play when you're ready for the paragraph. The paragraph states, why was revolution in the air? And so you can use your main idea and the details from the text to support your answer.